Hey guys, welcome back to Season 1 of Cinematic Reviews. As always, I'm your host Chris, and today I'll be talking about one of the great debates among Marvel fans right now. Which is the better movie, Infinity War or Endgame? Before we talk about arguments and my thoughts on this debate, let's check out some fun facts about these two films. Infinity War became the highest grossing movie of 2018 with a total of $2 billion worldwide, making it the fifth highest of all time below The Force Awakens. Endgame the following year grossed a total worldwide of $2.7 billion, making it the second highest movie of all time below Avatar. Both of these movies were directed by Anthony and Joe Russo, who also directed Captain America: The Winter Soldier and Civil War. They are top-tier Marvel movies, so having the Russo brothers also direct Infinity War and Endgame was perfect, giving the audience a serious action thriller in The Winter Soldier and a fantastic team-up adventure with Civil War, showed fans of Marvel that they could deliver a home run. Originally, Infinity War and Endgame were going to be named Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2. The Russo brothers felt that these two were very different movies, so they changed it. The title for Endgame wasn't announced until the first trailer released almost 8 months after Infinity War hit theaters. The total budget for both movies was between $650 to $700 million, which is insane, but it shows. We got two masterpieces out of it. Tom Holland was not allowed to read the scripts, both for Infinity War and Endgame, which is no surprise considering he spoiled stuff for Spider-Man Homecoming. In fact, Robert Downey Jr. was the only cast member to have a copy of the full script for both movies. Writers originally wrote to have Thanos show up to the final battle in Endgame carrying Captain America's head. Marvel said absolutely not in order to maintain the family-friendly atmosphere of the movie. And lastly, the famous I Love You 3000 line from Endgame was Robert Downey Jr.'s idea. That was such a great line, especially in the end scene with the hologram message. Just a total gut puncher. So to get things started, let me throw on my Team Infinity War hat for this debate.
Court is now in session.
Your Honor, Infinity War is the better movie because this is the first time that our heroes actually lost. With the snap being one of the greatest cliffhangers in movie history, Infinity War left the audience losing its mind. Fans never thought that Marvel would actually kill half of its own universe. As a movie, it was shorter and tighter than Endgame. Endgame was just fan service on top of fan service. It is the greatest hits track for Marvel. Infinity War overall gave the audience a more compelling story and an even more compelling villain in Thanos. Infinity War is his movie. If Thanos or the snap isn't enough to convince you, go back and watch Thor's entrance into Wakanda with Stormbreaker. No matter how many times you watch it, you get goosebumps. It is the most hyped moment in the movie and one of the best in the MCU. Every hero group was perfect and greatly written, especially the dynamic between Tony and Doctor Strange. They are the two of the most stubborn and arrogant characters in the universe. Thor and Rocket traveling to Nidavellir was perfect writing. Rocket having his captain moment and Thor calling him Rabbit the whole time was perfect. This is the only time we get conflict or any other interaction between Banner and Hulk. Before Infinity War, it was just one or the other for a certain amount of time. There was never any arguing back and forth between them. Endgame decided to take the easy route and put them together as one character. In close, Infinity War is not only the better Marvel movie, but also a better movie. It's a tough argument to beat. Let's throw on our Endgame hats and hear what the other side has to say. Your Honor, it's not even a question that Endgame is the better movie. We get the greatest finale in movie history. Endgame wraps up the whole 11-year story that Marvel wrote to span over 20 movies. The best moments of Marvel are in this movie. We get Cap not only picking up Thor's hammer, but using it with all the power that comes with it. We get Black Widow and Hawkeye going to Vormir to fight each other to save everyone. And for the gut puncher, we get Tony snapping his fingers to eliminate Thanos. This is one of the greatest deaths in movie history. It was poetic that he ended this journey while using his iconic line, I am Iron Man. The humor in Endgame is far superior to Infinity Wars, and we get a lot more of it, especially with Fat Thor stealing every scene that he's in. Ant-Man coming back as different ages was brilliant. Paul Rudd knocks that scene out of the park, along with many others that he's in. Even Rhodey added some comedic lines, such as telling Thor that his body is filled with cheese whiz, not lightning. Endgame has far more hyped moments as well. From Tony figuring out time travel to Spider-Man and Iron Man reuniting after Hulk snapped his fingers, to the entire montage of getting each stone in the past. From start to finish, the audience is on a roller coaster of emotions. On the topic of time travel, Not only is this a great time travel movie, but it also pokes fun at other time travel movies. So Back to the Future is such a bunch of bullshit. Such a great line performed by Paul Rudd. In close, with the impact Endgame had on its audience, it is by far the superior movie. So after hearing the two sides, I'm just going to come out and say it. Infinity War to me is a better movie. Now, nothing against Endgame. I love the movie, and I think it's a crowning achievement for not only Marvel, but the movie industry in general. No lie, I'm in the group of people who teared up at the sight of Tony snapping his fingers and eventually dying. That moment was a gut puncher. But with all that though, Infinity War is still the better movie. From the moment the Marvel logo comes up with the voiceover of Emily Ma to the shot of Thanos carrying a defeated Thor, the audience is immediately told that this will be a powerful and heartbreaking adventure. It's a constant uphill battle for the Avengers as they race to stop Thanos from getting all the stones. Robert Downey and Tom Holland steal this movie. Every scene they're in is perfect. As a giant Spider-Man fan, the ending scene of him slowly disappearing in Tony's arms kills me every time I watch it. Tom Holland plays a scared teenager clinging onto his dad perfectly. I'm getting goosebumps right now just talking about it. Infinity War was a near perfect movie in general. The time travel in Endgame was too confusing at times for the general audience. And it is also a very long movie. Infinity War is considered a long movie too, but to me, it's definitely a tighter one. There are parts in the middle of Endgame that kind of drag on for a bit, and I'm left just wanting to get to the final battle already. The plot of Infinity War was also straightforward and easier to follow for the average moviegoer. Endgame is a montage of fan service on steroids. Thanos even takes a back seat in it because of the montage. Where in Infinity War, he's front and center as a very compelling character. About halfway through the movie, I thought to myself, wow, I get where he's coming from. I'm kind of rooting for him right now. So to give the listeners an idea of my rankings, here are my top 5 spots for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. At number 5, Captain America, The Winter Soldier. Number 4, Spider-Man Homecoming. Number 3, Avengers Endgame. Number 2, Avengers Infinity War. And racking up the top spot, Spider-Man No Way Home. You can find the entire list and many others on Letterboxd under Cinematic Reviews. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Cinematic Reviews. Join me Monday for another episode of New Release Monday, where I'll be giving my thoughts on Jackass Forever.